Hi everybody, I welcome all of you to the first session on data file handling. Sir, what is this first session, data file handling? Yes, let me discuss that in detail. Guys, you have the next chapter as data file handling. So in this chapter, what is that you will learn? Yes, first let me explain the name of this chapter first. What is data? Data in the sense it is a raw fact. Sir, we did not understood. Yes, I'm there for you. We have different types of data. It can be image data, it can be audio data, it can be video data. All this data, I will call it as a raw facts. All this data, I will call it as a raw facts. Listen to me carefully. All this data, I will call it as a raw fact. So guys, what is raw facts here now? What is raw facts? Raw facts in the sense which is not processed, that I will call it as a raw facts. So that is what I will call it as a data. When I have data, I have to store it somewhere. So where do you store it? So I will store it in the form of records. If you store it in the form of records, if you have more than one record, then I will call it as a file. What do you call it as a file? If you have the collection of records, I will call it as a file. So you understood about data. Data is nothing but raw fact. So you're trying to store that in a record. So record in the sense what? So what is file? File is a collection of records. So fine, you understood file also. Then what is this handling? If I want to store the data inside the file, I have to perform some of the operations. It can be read, it can be write, or it can be many other operations that I have to perform on files. What is that you are trying to perform on that file is what we are trying to understand in this chapter. So it's very interesting for all of you. So let me start with the introduction. What is that I will discuss in this chapter. So please understand, I will be discussing about the introduction of this chapter. Sir, whatever you did in the first slide, was that not introduction? No, I will discuss something else in the introduction. Keep waiting for me. So what is the next one that I have? You have fstream.h, very important header file with respect to file handling. I will request all of you to make a note of it, fstream.h. So in this session, I want all of you to take pen and paper or a computer science notes. Please write the syntax for all the operations that I am trying to explain in this chapter. Please make a note of all the syntax, whatever I am trying to explain in this session. Please make a note of all the syntax, very, very important. So you have to write down the syntax as well as what is the purpose of that particular operation and the modes. Yes. What is that I will discuss? fstream.h. Okay. So and also I will discuss classes for the file stream operations. What are all the different operations that I have with respect to the file stream operation. And also I will discuss types of data files that you have. So we have different types of data files. I will be discussing that in detail. Along with that, the last topic. So opening of a file. How do you open the file is what I'm trying to discuss in this session. So before I start the session, let me discuss the blueprint for all of you. Dear students, you have 6 hours. The number of hours which is prescribed by the PU board is 6 hours. And you will get 2 questions from this chapter. How many questions you will get? You will get 2 questions. 1 question from 2 marks. 1 question from 2 marks. And again 1 question from 3 marks. So total 5 marks easily you can score. Sir, it's a very, very easy and interesting topic for all of you. Easily you can score in this chapter. I will tell you which are all the important questions that you have to read and prepare. So it will take only 15 minutes for this chapter if you attend my classes completely. If you watch my classes completely, after that, at the end of the session, I will give you the revision. So after the revision, you will feel like, yes, I just need only 15 minutes for this chapter. I'm sure I will make you feel like that. Yes. Moving on to the first topic, that is introduction. What exactly this introduction is all about? Please observe, I have something on the board. Guys, what is the first thing that I have? I have C++ program. I have C++ program. Here I have input stream, here I have output stream. So let us understand this concept in a different way. You know C++ program, I don't have to explain about it, right? So, and also you have heard about input, and also you have heard about output. There is something called stream, which you have not heard about. That is an important concept that you should concentrate now. What is the stream? What exactly the stream is all about? The series of data is what I will call it as a stream. The series of data one by one, if you are sending the data, that I will call it as a stream. So one by one. So for example, this is the first data, this is second data, after this I have one more data. This lineup of data is what I will call it as a stream. So please observe. So here I have input stream, here I have output stream. The data is going one by one, okay, in input stream as well as output stream. So you have C++ program, you have input stream, you have output stream. So guys, let us understand from where exactly I'm getting the input to my C++ program. Yes, please understand, my input source are like keyboard, files, networks, and also from different programs. Yes or no? Can I call this is my source of input? Yes. From where you will get the input? Yes, I will get the input from the keyboard. I will type, the user will type. So from there you will get the input. Imagination is very important. So please imagine whatever I am trying to explain. So you have the keyboard. So you are trying to enter. So you are getting the input. Then after that, so please understand, there is some network. So from the network also you are getting some input, and also you have some program. From that program also you are getting the input. So these are all the different sources that I have to read the input. So in the same way, I have some of the output source, right? I have some of the output sink. What is that I have? So I have console. Please understand the meaning of the console in the sense it is display. Whenever I use a word console, please understand that is display. So guys, what is that I have? As an output sink, I have display, and also I have file, network, and program. So guys, so from here I have the input. From here I will give the output to the different sources. Yes or no? This is the concept, exactly how the input stream and output streams are working. Okay, so this is the brief introduction for all of you with respect to the flow of data. In short, let me just tell you a small story. Please try to visualize it. I have the keyboard, I will type it. So once you type, where it will go? So it will go to the input stream. Input stream takes the responsibility to take your data to the C++ program. Let us imagine, after performing all the operations in the C++ program, so there is one more agent who is waiting to carry your data. So that is output stream. So he will get your data and he will display it on the screen. So where exactly you are able to see the output? You are able to see the output on the screen. That is what I will call it as a console. This is how the process is happening between the input stream and output stream, guys. So this is the basic knowledge that you should have before I get into the topic. So fine, so that is what I have explained here. If the byte flows from the devices like keyboard, disk drive, etc. to the main memory, so please understand, why are you using the word called main memory, sir? Because if you are trying to execute any program, so it will be in the main memory. The execution of the program will happen in the main memory. Sir, what is main memory? We are not understanding. Yes, RAM is your main memory. If you want to execute any of the things, so please remember, everything will execute inside the RAM. So even your C++ program also should go to the RAM. So your program is in the RAM. So whatever the keyboard input you have, so it will go to the main memory. So after that, this is what we have input operation. This is what we call it as a input operation. The same way I have, if the bytes are flowing from the main memory to device, if the bytes are flowing from the main memory, that is from the C++ program in the diagram, main memory to device like display screen, printer, etc. This is what we call it as a output operation. So you understood about the input operation and output operation. Fine. In C++, file input and output facilities are implemented through a header file fstream.h. In whatever you want to input, whatever you want to take the output, so everything is defined in the header file called fstream.h. It's a very important point that all of you should make a note of it. So what is the header file that we are trying to use if you are using a concept of files in C++? If they ask you, you have to write fstream.h. So you understood 3 points. You just have to remember only 3 points in this slide. The first one is input stream. What is input stream? If the bytes of data is moving from where to where, please observe, keyboard to main memory, keyboard to main memory, that is input stream, keyboard to main memory. If you reverse it, what will happen? Memory to output device like monitor or any other output devices. So this you will call it as the output operation. So this you will call it as a input operation. This in the sense what? So from keyboard to main memory. This in the sense what? So from memory to output device. This is what you have to remember. So for handling this input and output operation in C++ program, we have the header file that is fstream.h. 3 points you have to remember. Actual picture starts from now. So guys, that is what they have depicted here. I have my program. What is it I have? I have my program. So data input to the program. Data input to the program. So this input will be handled by this input stream. This input will be handled by the input stream. After that, the read data from the files. So this data will go to the memory. This data, whatever I have in the input stream, will go to the memory. From the memory, it will go to the output stream. From the memory, it will go to the output stream. So this will be handled by whom? So can you tell me this will be handled by whom? So guys, the output stream will take care of this operation, and then again the data will go back to the program. So this is the exact thing which is happening. This is exactly what is happening for all of you when you are trying to handle the data with respect to the C++ program. Please observe the diagram. So I have the program. Okay, I have the program. So the program is trying to interact. Okay, so program, I'm just trying to interact with the program. So I'm typing the input. So input will be handled by the input stream. So why are you using the word called stream? Because series of bytes. What is series of bytes? My data is in the form of bytes. Series in the sense what? You can also call it as a stream. One by one. Okay, so that is what I will call it as a series, or I will call it as a stream. My data is in the form of stream, so it will be handled by the input stream. So fine, I have my data in the input stream. So what I should do by keeping the data in the input stream? That data I will take it to the disk. What is that I am calling this disk as? This disk is a main memory. Here is exactly my program is getting executed. Once it is done, so write the data to the file, all those operations, whatever the operations that you have to perform, all those operations will be performed, and then it will be thrown back to the output stream. Output stream will decide, so to which source I have to send my output. Okay, so it will be taken care, and data output will be given back to the program. So that output will be displayed in your program. So hope you have tried to visualize. You will type a C++ program, so you will enter the input. So after performing that input, so the program will display the output. Same thing will happen in this cycle. That's what you have to remember. So please understand what exactly the header file is involved to perform this operation. Yes, you are right. fstream.h is the header file which is involved to perform this operation. Moving on to the next concept. So what is that I have? So classes for the file stream operations. Very important topic in fact. So this will be asked for 2 marks. Please make a note of it. This is the important question that you can expect for 2 marks from this chapter. So what is that I have to remember? Classes for file stream operations. Mention the different classes for the file stream operations. 2 marks. You have to specify any 2. Okay. So what is that? So why do I use file BUF? What is the meaning of BUF, Buffalo? No, it is file buffer. What is the meaning of buffer? Buffer in the sense temporary memory. So buffer in the sense what? Temporary memory. So why do I use file buffer? Please understand, it sets the file buffers to read and write. If I want to perform any read and write operation, I have to have some temporary memory. For that reason, I'll be using file buffer. So what is the next one that I have? File stream base. What is the next class that I have? I'm using a word called class. All these things you should treat it as a class. All these things you should treat it as a class. So fine. What is this F stream base? Why do I use this F stream base? Please understand, it supports the operation. It supports the operation common to the file streams. It supports the operation which is common to the file streams. As of now, please understand only this much. I will tell you, I will exactly explain what exactly this F stream is all about. So what is that? F stream base. What is the meaning? F stream base will support the operations common to the file stream base. Common to the file stream base. Yes, as of now, you just understand only this much. So now I'll come to IF stream. I will come to the IF streams. What is this IF stream? It supports all the input operations. If I want to perform any input operations, I will repeat, if I want to perform any input operation, I have to use the class called IF stream. I have to use a class called IF stream. In the same way, please remember, if I use O instead of I, I'm just trying to use O. So this is for input, this is for output. It supports output operations. It supports output operations. Just have to remember I and O. I in the sense input and O in the sense output. F stream is common here. F stream is common here. What is the next one that I have? F stream. What is the next one that I have? F stream. No I, no O. What is the next one that I have? F stream. What is that? If I remove this I and O, please understand, it supports simultaneously input and output operation. It supports simultaneously. That is the word that you have to remember. What is this? Simultaneously. At a time, it allows you to perform read and write. But here I'm restricting only for output. Here I'm restricting it only for the input. But here I'm not restricting it. Both the things can happen simultaneously if I use the class F stream. So how many classes you remember? Now the first one is file buffer, second one is F stream base. What is the second one? F stream base. Third one is IF stream, OF stream, and just F stream. So these things, if you just remember, 2 marks or 3 marks you will have in your pocket for sure. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Hope you understood this. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So how many types of data files that I have? So I have 2 types of data files. The first one is text files. What is the first one that I have? I have text file, and the second one that I have is binary files. What is text file and what is binary file? Please understand, in your text file, the data will be stored in the form of ASCII values. Data will be stored in the form of ASCII values. All the line will have the end of the character, that is /n. So each line will have the delimiter. What is the meaning of delimiter? So there is a character which will tell you the end of the line in the text file. So what is the first one? Your data will be stored in the form of ASCII characters. That is the first point that you should remember. What is the second point that you should have? Each line of the text is terminated by a special character, that is end of line. 2 points you should remember with respect to the text file. What is the next one that I have? So next one is binary files. Like how you store the information in the memory, in the same way you will store the data in binary file. What is that? How exactly you will store the data in the memory? In the same way you will store the data in the binary file. It will be in the form of zeros and ones. So why should I have this binary file? It is very easy to manage the memory with respect to the binary file. It is very efficient to write the program with respect to the binary file, and it is very robust to have a program with respect to the binary files. But it's very difficult for us to understand what exactly I have the data in the binary file. So hope you have the good idea about the text file and the binary file now. So if I just look at with respect to the advantages, I have more advantages with respect to the binary file. So guys, binary file is a file that contains the information in the same format as it held in the memory. That is what I have explained. And binary file, no delimiter. That is one more important point you should remember. So in this I have end of line, but here I don't have end of line. Okay, that is one more point that you should remember. No translation occurs here because it will be in the form of zeros and ones. So no translation will occur in this one is what you have to remember. So how many things in this slide you have to remember? You just have to remember only two things. First one is text files, another one is binary files. ASCII values you have to remember. All your data will be in the form of ASCII characters. End of the line delimiter will be there. So here it will be in the form of binary. It will be in the form of binary. No delimiter you will have and no translation occurs is what you have to understand in this slide. Okay, any doubt do you have in this slide? Hope you don't have, because I made it very simple and clear. Moving on to the next one. Opening and closing of files. How many types I can open? So I'll just start with the opening now. Okay, I will just start with the opening now. So let me explain in how many ways I can open the file. In two ways I can open the file. So let me start with the first one, opening a file using constructor. Opening a file using constructor and opening a file using open function member. Open function member. I have two things. I can open the files in two ways. Opening a file using constructor and opening a file using open member function. So what is the difference that I have between these two? Why should I have two ways to open the function? So is it important with respect to the exam point of view? I will be coming with the interesting topics in the coming session. So I will be discussing why do I have two methods to open my file. So until then, take care of your health and your family members. Keep missing me. Bye bye.